Hello, me mateys. Did you miss me? Before we talk about anything reading related today, I would just like to say please ignore my hair. It was overstimulating the crap out of me, and this is where we landed. I don't like it, but I'm not feeling restricted breathing anymore, and that is my main goal in life at this moment in time. But now that we got my hair fiasco out of the way, let's talk about reading, shall we? Shall we? I'm excited too. He's fine, by the way, I promise. If you are new here, this is Aslan. This is one of my cats. This one sleeps with me, and he always knows what I'm filming and gets right in my face when I do so. I promise you he's fine. He's just gonna be here like this. For those of you who are not new here, trust me, I've tried everything to get him to stop. I haven't found anything that works yet. He just wants to be involved, okay? He just wants to be involved. Anywho, do y'all remember before I had my 9-month long reading slump and before I didn't post any videos regarding reading because I was in a 9-month long reading slump, then I started a challenge that I called like the Reading Through the Alphabet Challenge or something like that, where essentially I would pick up a book, the title starting with every letter of the alphabet. So I think for A, we read Assistant to the Villain. B, we read, I don't even know what we read for B. I'm pretty sure we read Fourth Wing for F. Are we even to F? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah, no, F was the last one. I think we read Fourth Wing. Anyway, clearly the point is to read a book title or a book where the title matches up with the letter of the alphabet, and because I'm crazy, I'm going in order because that's what feels right to my brain. Okay? Actually, I don't know what other way you would go about this unless you use like a wheel letter or someone had like the capacity to keep track. I don't have the capacity to keep track. We're going in alphabetical order, okay? And last time I filmed one of these, I technically ended on letter G, but I started reading The Grace Year by Kim Liggett, and then I lost my copy of the book, and I was like, well, literally, what am I supposed to do, right? Like, there was nothing for me to do. I couldn't find another book in time to start reading it before the video needed to go out, so I'm just like, we'll come back to it later. It's later. We're coming back to it. And obviously, we still need to read letter G, and funnily enough, guess who found their copy of The Grace Year by Kim Liggett? I did. So for my letter G book, we are finally going to be picking up The Grace Year and actually reading it. And I'm okay. Long story, but I'm really excited to continue. Again, long story. I am in a weird mood and my brain is all over the place. But the first time they picked this book up, I think I read the first 45 pages of it and then stopped, lost my copy, went on with my life. Didn't care that much. But I found it, and I've read more than 40 pages. I read back and started from pages 1 or page 0 and started reading. And now I am on page I think it's 186. 188. I'm on page 188. And listen, I know that we haven't talked, and technically that's more than 50% of the way through the book. Actually, I think it's a little bit under. Either way, I know we're supposed to be reading books together. My mom and I sat down on the couch with new books. We were both only going to read a little bit, because when you pick up a new book, mostly nothing happens. And you just are like, okay, I'll come back to you later. Both the book her picked up and the book I picked up, we couldn't stop. We were there for 3 hours. 2.5, 3 hours. And this was the result. And in the kindest way possible, I don't film anything in front of my mother. I just don't. I think she would think I'm crazy. Like, I'm sure if I started doing it, she'd get used to it and be fine with it. Especially because I do, for those of you who don't know, I don't talk about this a lot on here, but other than reading is my hobby, 100% hobby. I crochet as a small business, and she goes to markets with me, and we're to the point in it where she'll be like, "Do you need me to take your picture? You want me to take your picture so you can post on social media?" Like, she gets it. She's there for that. But if I start talking to y'all in front of her about these things might get a little crazy. Okay? And I don't think I'm mentally ready. I don't think I'm mentally ready for that. Like, this is like a YouTuber situation. This is a YouTuber situation, and I don't think I'm ready to explain that to anybody else yet. Although this is like anyone can see being me and being a content creator at the same time is really weird. Okay? Me, anxiety, social anxiety, content creator, everybody sees my face. They don't really mesh, and luckily this is really just honestly for me. Who would have thought I could do anything for myself? Wow, I'm off the rails crazy. Not what we need to be talking about. I started reading The Grace Year by Kim Liggett, and I'm very much enjoying myself. That's what we're supposed to be talking about. If I am remembering correctly, this book had a moment in 2023, 2024, and everybody and their mother was reading it. My mom actually read this, picked it up and read it before I did. That normally doesn't happen, but she read The Grace Year, and she actually really liked it. I believe Destiny Sidwell read it as well, and back in 2023, 2024, she was like exclusively the only booktuber that I watched, and immediately I'm like, oh, yeah, that sounds good as heck. Anywho, if you've never heard of The Grace Year, essentially, when girls turn 16, they are sent into the woods to survive and not die, because they are seen to have magical powers, and no one talks about this year that only the women spend out in the woods because they have magic and they're supposed to be getting rid of it, and the men are afraid of that. Honestly, this is one of the most misogynistic books I have ever read in my life. The men piss me off. Most of the girls piss me off. I am so happy our main character has a little bit more brain depth. I'm pretty sure this book takes place in like the past, like the 1600s past. Okay, and my girl realizes that she doesn't want to be under the ruling of men, but I don't think she realizes that it's an option to not be under the ruling of men. So my little woman-loving heart is hating that for her, but I'm glad that she's being literally the pillar of progress in this community. I think that's really important. But I've read so far that we've gone through the beginning, we've gone through this whole thing where if the men want and they're in the same age group as the woman leaving, they get to choose their wives before they go into the woods. Like, when I say misogyny, I mean like an obscene amount of misogyny, but I'm okay. I'm coping, and I'm hoping that she's going to burn the entire village down. What's our main character's name? I forgot. Tyranny. Her name's Tyranny. I really hope Tyranny burns the entirety of this county down, because they're called counties. County dead. Kill the county. Off with the king's head. I hate this place. Anyways, the men chose their wives. Their wives are now in the woods, and apparently they're not set to just frolic the woods, what like I thought that they would be. They're in an encampment. They're surrounded by a giant wall of wood. They're safe. So these poachers that everybody's talking about, I really don't think they're that big of a deal. And then unless you leave the giant freaking wood wall, there's no reason these bitches should be getting you. Plus, mini-ish spoiler, Tyranny has already run into the same poacher, or what we think is a poacher, twice. I'm not convinced it's a poacher. I'm not convinced poachers are real. Like, this entire thing has me guessing everything about this book. Like, I don't trust a singular character, not even our main character. We are literally in Miss Tyranny's perspective, and I don't even trust everything that she says. Not in a rude way, just in a way of like, I don't know if she's reliable. I don't rely on anyone in this book. I think it's mostly because there's so much misogyny, and I just want there to not be misogyny. So I just hope for something different, but I don't really know. I don't really know. I really don't know. But I mean, other than that, I truly don't have a lot of thoughts other than like misogyny rainbow in every color. We got about halfway left. A little bit more than halfway. And we're in the season of winter, and we have to go through all 4 seasons because they're in this encampment for a year. I think I literally just started winter. Yeah, I'm like 10 pages into winter. We have the rest of winter, we have spring, we have summer, and then we have the return, because yes, I did look ahead and see what the final little section was called. Mind you, by the way, because I wish I knew this before going into this book does not have chapters. It functions as seasons. So the seasons are separated like this, with this cute little page that will bring you to a new season, and there's no chapters. There's literally no freaking chapters. There are page breaks like this all throughout the book, and that's kind of what I've been going on for chapters, because there's nothing actually saying like chapter 1, chapter 2. It's page breaks, but there's at least 100 pages in every season. There's no chapters, and I'm not enjoying that. I just, I function better in chapters. I function better in chapters because it's easier for me to talk to y'all after a certain number of chapters. I am really glad this is divided into seasons, though, because if there was no seasons and no chapters, I think I would just have figured it out together, which clearly I already did, and really I only read like one season, because it's not called the season at first. Like, what's the first section called? Oh, is it called Autumn? Actually, I think it may be called Autumn. Okay, yeah, I'm a liar. The first section is called Autumn. I read Autumn in like 10 pages of winter. Good gravy. Anyways, I actually don't have any actual problems with this book other than the misogyny in it, but I think that's the point, and I'm already over that. You know, like I knew what I was getting to going into this for once, and I'm not over the misogyny, but I'm dealing with it, and I think that shows development in my personal reading and in myself as a person. But I am going to read a little bit more tonight. I'm thinking I'm going to finish reading Winter, if not a little bit more. We will see. We'll see if there's a cliffhanger too, because the last season ended in a cliffhanger, and I simply cannot have that. So that's where my brain's at. I'm gonna go jump back into the Grace Year and finish reading Winter, And then we'll go from there, my friends. But we're here. We're back in the alphabet. Letter G, baby. Is that G? Yeah, G. I know a little bit of ASL still. Crazy. Hello, my friends, and good morning. I don't know why I have an accent on that isn't my own, but if you could please ignore the little, stringy yarn that's going on here. It's a side project, not relating to this, but I just realized that it was, really in frame, but that's better. And now that you can barely see it, it really doesn't matter, at all. Good gosh. But that is 120% not what we are supposed to be talking about. We are here this evening, I think it's 5 p.m. at this point, to touch base, that's upside down and backwards, oh my gosh, to talk about The Grace Year by Kim Liggett. I did finish the entirety of the winter section last night. It actually only took me 40 minutes, which is kind of crazy. I thought it was going to take me a lot longer than that, and I almost did start to read spring, which is the next season we're going into, but honestly, just didn't happen. Okay, let's just leave it at that. But winter is done, and honestly, there's not a lot to say, other than our girl found out a little bit more about the poachers and why they function and how they function, and I think that was important. Most because now I think this entire thing is a pyramid scheme. This feels like a pyramid scheme. Like a really, really good pyramid scheme, okay? We still have a lot of misogyny, but I think I appreciate the turn that this took, because it is truly making me believe Tyranny said about the other girls in the camp. I'm really believing that statement. Then again, it could also just be not the same. I don't know. I feel like our narrator's unreliable. There's just a lot going on still, but also not a lot to talk about because we haven't really progressed much. Nothing catastrophically different has happened to change the plot a whole lot from where we were still going. And because of that, I seriously have no other thoughts about winter. Brain is kind of empty, and I really just want to finish this. Honestly, I think we're gonna finish it tonight. But the next season is spring. I'm gonna go read spring. If anything crazy happens in spring, we'll stop and talk about it. But if not, we're just gonna continue through summer and touch base at least before the girls go home, okay? That feels like the right thing to do. But misogyny is high, so are my spirits. I am still enjoying it. Let's go read about spring during the Grace Year. Alrighty, so obviously it's later, because I think the last time we talked the sun was up. Anyways, it's later at night. I finished spring, I have summer and the ending left, and honestly, I'm at the point in this book where I do just want to be done. I think I'm over it. Nothing terrible happened in this last part, okay? Nothing I wasn't expecting. Well, that's not true. Nothing involving what Tyranny is doing is anything that I thought she wouldn't do. Other than this whole thing. I don't want to spoil anything. But you remember how I keep talking about freaking misogyny? And I'm like, oh my god, I love that Tyranny doesn't fall for that shit. I know this is probably not the point of the book, okay? Very, very, very aware. But the fact that she left one male figure to then depend on, or fall on, or rely on, or feel the need to always be around another one, it's peeving me. It's really peeving me. And this honestly could just be a me issue, okay? I don't know. He seems like a fine person. Actually, he does. I don't know. I don't feel chemistry between Tyranny and that dude. I don't feel chemistry between Tyranny and the other dude. I don't feel chemistry between Tyranny and anyone. I think Tyranny needs to be an independent baddie. And I feel like no one's giving her the light of day to do that. And maybe that's part of her internalized misogyny of I need a man to function. Okay, fight it. Don't do it. Don't fall for it. I don't know. It's just really peeving me that I feel like every time she becomes an independent character, they're like, give her a man. Again, probably totally not even the point. but it's making me upset, and it's to the point where I do just want to finish the book. And luckily, I have less than 100 pages left, so I am just gonna go finish this. Honestly, unless anything like outstanding happens that I feel like I need to talk about, I'm gonna go finish this. The Grace Year. This is The Grace Year by Kim Liggett, and we'll reconvene to talk about my ending thoughts because I just at this point I'm done. Like I think I've mentally checked out like 20 pages ago. It is 12:15 in the morning. I finished The Grace Year, and I'm sorry that I was shitting on it. If it's not clear, this book is making me cry, and it's because I realized why I'm mad at it, and I'm mad that I was mad at it because I realized why I'm so upset with the book. In the kindest way possible, Miss Kim, do you want to warn me? I was reading a book about my literal life. This book very much, I don't want to say dramatizes what it's like living as a female in the world, but I think it puts it into a story that is easier for people to read and like comprehend because it's a story and it's not real. But the second that I realized, like at the end of the book, we get like it's not a plot twist, but we realize what this specific flower is about and the connection with that and all of these people. And the second that I realized that, I was so mad because I realized that I was literally reading about my life. Now I am obviously not being sent into the woods to survive for a year on my own, and I'm not dealing with any of the things that they dealt with out there. But I think the overall arching themes, oh, they got me, and I'm crying about it. I am honest to God crying about it. Honestly, if we're being open and honest with each other, this could also be because I'm coming off the back end of my period, but I think this book would have made me unwell at any moment in time. I was so dead set that I was gonna rate this book like a 2.5 or 2 stars, but I'm giving it 3. I think that in order to fully appreciate what this book is, I'm gonna cry through all of this, I'm sorry, but in order to appreciate, like fully appreciate what this book is, you have to have emotional depth and you have to be able to think past face value what is being given to you in the book. And I don't even know if I can call myself a good example of that because I was raving and raving and raging about just the absolute obscene amount of misogyny in this book. But I'm like, oh, ha ha ha, Paige. I am truly so curious to know what a man who has read this book would think. I'm so interested. I want to know if the men would think it's a dumb adventure, like adventure, or if they would actually see the book for what it is, because I don't know if they would. At least the men that I know. I don't know. I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if I know any men that would actually sit down and read a 400-page book. I don't know if I know any men who would do that. I truly and honestly just can't get over how beautiful the book is. Now that I've like sat here with it, I'm not as mad with myself about feeling that way about the book because I think that might have been the point. I think the point might have been to be so mad at the book and been like, this is terrible. Why are they treating women this way? And then you realize at the end, oh, it's because it's like our lives. It's essentially our lives. Genuinely, I think I need to cry about this book a little bit more, but I'm not gonna do that on camera. That feels a little much. I was gonna start our H book tonight, and I still kind of want to, but I also don't at the same time. I honestly am an emotional wreck. But I'm gonna introduce you to our H book just in case I do decide to pick it up before I go to sleep. But like I said, I think I'm gonna go cry about this book, and honestly, I might go to sleep after that. But if not, the next book that I'm going to be picking up is House of Dragons by Jessica Clueless. No, just Clues. There's no L. It's just Clues. I don't know a ton about this other than honestly it's giving me Light Lurk vibes of all these people are coming together to, I believe, battle out for something. Here, let me read this really quick blurb on the back. 5 houses will hear the call to compete for the dragon throne. A liar, a soldier, a servant, a thief, and a murderer. Who will win? which sounds really intriguing, and it's why I picked it up. It was either this or Hush Hush, which is part of the Hush Hush series, but I decided that I probably shouldn't be picking up another series because of my whole finishing the series that I'm in the middle of journey that I want to go on this year. But if I do read any more tonight, it's going to be House of Dragons. Honestly, I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen now that I'm sitting here reading the back of it. I'm like, I would actually rather just cry and then go to bed. So I think I might give myself the luxury of doing that. Anyways, in this video, I don't think y'all got to see the beautiful cover that the Gracier has. This is the copy that I have. It's literally just the jacket. It's not even on the book. Oh my god. Liba Bray has a blurb on the front of this. Dude, I love Liba Bray. I need to finish her Diviners series. I have one book left, The King of Crows, but that's not pertinent to what we're supposed to be talking about. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go have my little cry session about the Gracier. And we will probably reconvene in the morning. I didn't think I'd be crying book one of this. My apologies, y'all. My apologies. Okay, so despite what it may look like, it is actually a completely different day. It's like 2 or 3 days later or after we talked last. However you want to phrase it, it's been a little bit. Honestly, I think the only reason you can tell is because my sweatshirt has changed colors. But we're still reading, and that's why we're here and talking, obviously. It's currently like 11:30 at night, so I'm kind of out of it. But I did indeed start reading House of Dragons, and I'm a good chunk into it already. Actually, I'm on page 130 of a 400-page book, but I haven't really felt compelled to say anything about it yet because it's really, really basic. Like, it's so basic. There's nothing inherently wrong with this book. Okay, there's really not. Like, I'm still gonna read it. I'm still entertained. I still want to read it, but there's not a singular thing that has happened in this book that I haven't been like, oh yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Like, not a singular thing. The whole entire point of this, obviously, because I read you all the little blurb on the back, is that there's 5 people chosen from different kingdoms and they're all fighting for this throne, and in order to win that throne, there's trials. Who would have thunk it? There's trials in a fantasy book. And I have not only read the entirety of the first trial, but also like an introduction to all of these characters and how we got to where we are, and truly none of them have had a unique thought in their lives. I don't know if I mentioned this part of the book when I decided to pick it up and I was like, this is what we're reading next, but this is actually told in 5 different main characters' perspectives, but it's not told as like the eye when we're in their perspective. It's just like more focused on what that singular character is doing, but not from their eyeballs. Like, we're still seeing everything. What perspective is that? I'm pretty sure that's third person point of view, but I'm not like 100% sure. And it's 11:30 at night, and I don't care enough. But I have not read a book that has not been in first person point of view in a really long time, so that threw me for a loop when I started this, but it's just here. It's really just of average. There's not a lot going on. And when I say that, I genuinely feel like I'm just like shitting on it in its entire existence. It's not bad, okay? Like, there's nothing, like I said, there's nothing wrong with it, but there's nothing unique about it either. Like, it is literally, it's a fantasy, and that's all that I can say right now. Maybe I'll feel different in 50 pages, 100 pages, 150 pages. I don't know. We still have like 350 left to go, but it's just like depth, I guess, to like anything that's happening. Like, it's very just surface level, and because of that, I literally have nothing exciting to say about this. Of, oh my god, I can't wait to see what happens. No, I feel like I know what's gonna happen because I've been right every other time. It's just not it, you know. It's not it. And again, I really just feel like I'm consistently shitting on it, but I'm not, because I still want to read it. There's nothing setting it apart. There's nothing setting it apart, and that sucks. I don't know. But I'm gonna go continue reading House of Dragons. I don't actually know if slash when we'll check back in with each other with this. Like, I really don't. I honestly don't even want to dignify it with my time of talking with y'all about it when I could, like, quote unquote, zoom through it and then move on to the letter I book. I don't have anything to say about it. Honestly, there's not a lot going on, and I've just been repeating myself for the past 4 or 5 minutes, essentially, with the same statement, just in different words in a different order. What a concept. But like I said a minute ago, I'm gonna go continue reading House of Dragons, and we'll see if anything comes of it. Cause right now, I'm not too sure. Alright. What up, my reading folks? I did not dignify you with anything regarding, whoops, that's my finger, me reading House of Dragons. I didn't dignify you with anything. because there's nothing to dignify you on, okay? I finished this book literally 20 minutes ago, and I have never wanted to DNF a book so bad in my life. Oh, oh my gosh. I am someone who will DNF a book without like a second glance at it. I'll be like, I'm not enjoying this. You're done. Off. Or as my mom likes to call it, DNR. The do not resuscitate list. We don't come back to it. Either way, I'm all good with that. I'll do that all the freaking time. But for whatever reason, I held on to this and I kept reading and I got to like the halfway point. I don't even know when we talked about this book last, but I got to the halfway point and I'm like, okay, nothing's interesting is going on. Like literally nothing, literally nothing, literally nothing. I got 300 pages into this 400-page book. We finally got a mini plot twist. Things started happening and then everything happened in 100 pages when there was 300 pages of nothing that I had to read about trials. With all the love and respect in the world, do you know how many trials I've read about in fantasy books? Because I'm an avid fantasy reader. Do you know how many trials I've read about? Oh, good gravy. And these ones weren't even like good. They weren't even good. They weren't even especially because nothing happened in between. It was like, okay, we're going to trial 1, we're going to trial 2, we're going to trial 3. There's nothing happening in between. The only thing that's connecting them is the fact that these characters all want this freaking throne, which honestly sounds like a pain in the ass to want in the first place. And every single one of these characters was absolutely freaking insufferable. Every single one of these characters whose perspectives you go into, I did not like any of them at all. Not even being funny when I say that there was probably like one specific character that you're wanting to win, or at least get this cup, this gauntlet, or whatever the hell, the thing to win, right? I didn't want a singular one of them to win it. They all suck. The first one just kills people willy-nilly. The second one is too scared to kill anybody because they've taken a vow of not harming anyone. Okay, whatever, you have literally no personality. Number 3 was a servant turned into someone who was pulled into this gauntlet, wasn't really supposed to be to, and she's fine. I actually didn't hate her. She was one of the most tolerable characters, but I feel like she was the token gay of the group because she was a lesbian and kissing woman, and like, okay, fine, you're token gay person is what it felt like. Our fourth one had this magic power that she wasn't supposed to have, and it made her like super closed off, but like super knowledgeable, and so she's like talking about all this stuff. Like she's got all this knowledge, but she's like, I guess I don't really know. And I'm like, no, girl, stand up business, talk. Talk. Like either stand on what you're saying or shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. Then the fifth one just pissed me off because his entire purpose was being a bastard son. That is all that was referenced every single time he wrote of his chapters. I wanted to gouge my eyes out. I wanted to gouge my eyes out. I wanted to like this book so bad. I wanted to like it so bad because the premise is so freaking interesting. Are you kidding me? A liar, a soldier, a servant, a thief, and a murderer who will win? Girl, I want to know. No, I don't. I'm a liar. I don't want to know. Please give me back the 6 hours of my life that I spent on reading this book because I timed myself and it was 6 hours. And I don't want, no. It got so bad that during me reading the book, I was talking out loud about like bullshit. Like I was literally just saying bullshit out loud all the time because it was all bullshit. Like nothing was happening. It was boring. Well, it wasn't boring. It kept me entertained to read it, but like it wasn't going anywhere. You know what I mean? I had the fantasy grace with the book of like, oh, maybe something will happen. It'll be okay. You know, maybe it's just a little slow moving. And then I find out it's a series. And then I find out that the second book was supposed to be published 3 years ago and never got published. Because also, the author's a terrible person. I didn't know that going into this. If I would have known that, I wouldn't have read the freaking book. Author's a terrible person. Author's a terrible person. I genuinely swear to God have never disliked a book more. In my life. In my life. Literally in my life. So if it wasn't obvious, this isn't getting a very high rating. I'm giving it 1.5 stars. Not even 2. 1.5. I don't think I've ever like publicly read a book in the moment and then updated people on it and given it such a low rating. So if you are someone who enjoys this book and I am absolutely shitting on it, please enjoy what you want to enjoy. I did not enjoy this. Okay? I literally no. I do feel like mildly mean about saying all of this, but honestly, that's the entire point. I can't like every book I pick up, and I know that. But I've never disliked a book so much in my life. Like genuinely. So House of Dragons got 1.5 stars, and I'm never picking it up again. I'm never picking it up again. I will not be touching the series again. I will not be touching the author again. And thus we move on. Funnily enough, I did want to pick up our iBook in this video as well. I'm like, oh yeah, I can totally read that before I have to like edit and post this video. But I kind of dragged my feet reading House of Dragons. Haha, funny. And by that I mean I took like an extra day, which is fine. I thought that's fine. I'll just pick up another book after House of Dragons and I'll read it in a day because I do that all the time. But I am so upset with this book that I went to go pick out the iBook. I already knew what I wanted to read, and I'm like, actually, I don't want to read this. let me find something else. I look on my little, I have all my books that I own in my Goodreads. I looked at my Goodreads. I'm like, okay, what books do I own that start with a little I? There's literally nothing. There's nothing that looks even mildly appealing to me right now. Nothing. Apps, like, I don't even want to look at it. Nothing. And because of that, I think that I need to take a break from reading because this has tainted my view on reading as a whole for like a second. Not enough to put me in a book slump, but I'm like, I just need a second to process what I just read before something else reading wise. So I'm not reading anymore today. I'm not reading anymore tomorrow, which means that we're done here for this week. We're done here. But loved the grace year. Loved the grace year. Hated this, but loved the grace year. And in case you were wondering of what we were gonna read as an iBook, I was between If He Had Loved Me and The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. If He Had Loved Me was my first pick, and then I realized I want to cry again because I kind of went from crying to the grace year to a really bad book, and then I don't want to go back to crying. So I'm like, okay, we're not doing that. I went to go pick up The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Realized it was 450 pages. My copy is extremely long. Like the book itself is long, and then the font is itty bitty, and I'm like, no, simply no. Hence why we're done. Like I can't. I can't, and I don't want to, and I'm not forcing myself to. I'm having fun, guys. Remember, I'm having fun this year. We're having fun. But yeah, with that, I'm officially done yapping today. I'm done talking about books. I don't want to talk about books ever again. Oh my god. I'm kidding. I'll see you guys next Wednesday for the next reading adventure that we take on. In the meantime, I hope that your book worlds are treating you better than mine are treating me. Okay? You deserve better than that. And speaking of which, please make sure that you stay safe, happy, and healthy until the next Wednesday when we see each other. I am hoping and praying that I like the book that we pick up more. Y'all have a great week, and I will see you then. Toodles!